So no different from when you see one or two roaches, is 50 other roaches somewhere that you can't see, or you see a baby snake, so you know that the mama or the daddy snake is somewhere close by. It's the same thing when you're dealing with the wounded feminine and the wounded masculine. They have learned to function in dysfunction and also to regulate themselves through other people. And a lot of times, the whole family has learned to operate in that frequency. And whether it's consciously or unconsciously, these people tend to have the attachments of their family, which is why, somebody will come off very sneaky, very entitled, very manipulative. But when you meet their family, 9 times out of 10 is just confirmation and validation of their behavior. It's an attachment of what was already in their childhood, and which is why you'll see why somebody's behavior is very much tied to their mother or their father. When you see a man disrespect women and defend himself in doing it or justify it because of his mother's relationship with women and what his mother has quote unquote put him on game about other women, 9 times out of 10, he hates his mother, and also his mother hates other women. And that's the attachment, and that's why the energy comes off so weird and unsafe. And like I say, when you meet the mother, she's even encouraging towards that behavior because she's collecting energy. And a lot of times they'll use their sons to collect the energy off of their children's mother, their girlfriend, their wife. And the son doesn't realize he's the attachment, consciously or unconsciously. And that goes back to their attachment. And a lot of times we'll enter relationships or marriages and wonder why their mother, or you'll see why their mother is the root and the source of their behavior, especially when you see how the rest of the family operates. Same thing with the wounded masculine. You'll see the behaviors in their daughters and how they are with men, and they're validated by their father, not realizing that their father is also a wounded masculine. So that's why women who listen to their dads or have fathers that tell them how to take advantage of men to get over on men, 9 times out of 10, her father hates men, and her father was in his wounded masculine coming up and growing up. And so this even goes back to why some women, like I said before, will set another man up on behalf of another man. That's a man operating in his wounded masculine. A man or a woman that's willing to be the side chick or the side guy, or that's benefiting or letting you spend the money of your spouse on them and paying their bills in any type of way where they can benefit off of another man or another woman. That is wounded masculine or feminine energy. And like I say, the people, the third parties who are completing the mission and getting this thing done that they are using to do it are also operating in their wounded masculine or wounded feminine. So a lot of people enter families not knowing why they're feeling used, feeling drained, having accidents, losing their faith, not in alignment anymore. Just the access it felt like you had to God. It just seems like you decline when you enter certain families or have a baby with certain people, things like that. And even if it's not a baby or marriage, just a relationship with someone, and seeing how things change and how your nervous system is now being interfered with because of your ties with that family. And I remember I've told the story before, even about the girl who lied about the paternity of her child because her dad told her to, because the guy who was in a better position in life financially and that was in the military was a better benefit to their family than the guy who actually was the father. So that goes back to a man operating in his wounded masculine and pushing that mission down to his children. So that's why I say it's generational why people behave like that. Or why a man is lazy or takes advantage of women, using a woman for her resources or for his benefit, or a man who triangulates a woman with his mother, his sisters, things like that. Their mom and sisters are the wounded feminine, and they are triangulating you to give them your energy, your embarrassment, your sadness, all of that. There's a lot being compromised when you look at the root of their behavior. So you have to pay attention to people's connections and who they're connected to. DNA is information. People are passing on their information, that DNA and that energy, and we wonder why our relationships fell out the way they did, or why their mom or their dad encouraged negative behaviors. But because their mom and their dad, even if they don't realize spiritually, they are benefiting off of, this energy of resources, whatever it is that their children are doing to other people, they benefit off of it. And this is why they praise it. This is why they encourage it. You know, this is why they defend them when they're doing the things that they're doing. There's a bigger energy. That's why I say there's an even bigger roach. There's an even bigger snake that's really collecting off of that hunt and off of that prey in that situation. And that will lead me to my next video, talking about how a man or a woman will feed you to their family. And that goes back to why it goes very deep to and generational of why some people behave like that and function like that. And it's out of lack and it's out of survival. And they've always been taught to operate like that.